So what in particular would a Democratic House, where would their support be better than what is currently there now?
Well, I believe we need to make some significant changes in the way our schools operate and in the way our schools are funded. I have said that in my first 2 years I dealt primarily with additional funding for early child care and education and higher education issues, although we did make some modest changes with elementary and secondary education. But next year, the proposal regarding elementary and secondary education, I think, will be a much broader effort to make Ohio a state where the courts can finally declare our system of funding to be a constitutional system, and that is a large issue.
Do you think Republicans could stand in the way if they still control the House?
Well, you know, I don't want to judge what they may or may not do, but I can tell you that I have confidence that if we have a Democratic majority in the House, that I am likely to get strong support for my efforts.
And how optimistic are you will have a Democratic majority at this point, as things stand today?
Well, you know, I don't want to prejudge the voters, but we've got great candidates. They're working really hard. The polling results that I'm aware of indicate that it is possible that we will have a Democratic majority. We've got some great candidates, and I have been out trying to help them. You know, the voters will make the ultimate decision, will they not? As they always do. But I'm encouraging them to help us out. Nancy Garland is a terrific candidate here. Locally, I've known Nancy Garland during the days that I was in the Congress. She is a very knowledgeable, very competent, capable person. John Carney is a star, and I think he's doing very, very well. Jennifer Stewart, that I'm going to be with later today, over in the Zanesville area, is doing really, really well. Ray Pryor down in Ross County and Fayette County and part of Pickaway County is a terrific candidate. I think he's doing really well. And so these are good candidates, and I'm supporting them as strongly as I can. But knowing that when it comes down to it, the voters make the decision.
Now that you've completed the education reform forums, have you drawn any conclusions? Anything that you would like to do?
Well, I have other forums planned for this fall.
Those the school funding ones, or those still the
reform? The first forums that I did focused mostly on what kind of system do we want. The latter forums will, although there is some interaction between reform and funding, obviously, will focus primarily on funding issues. I've come up with some ideas that I think we will present to the legislature. Some of the things that we are going to suggest will likely be not mandated matters, but ways to provide encouragement or incentives for schools to try new things. We may suggest some pilot projects. So there are several things that we have heard in these forums that have impressed me. Certain things I've heard over and over and over. Not only in the way our schools are organized and structured, but in the way students are taught. And obviously, one of the things that I feel strongly about is having more individualized instruction, not turning out cookie-cutter students at the end of a study period, but recognizing that every student is different, every child is different, and that we need to have schools that revolve around the needs of the student rather than expecting students to revolve around the needs of the existing educational bureaucracy.
Right.
So some of those things we will find ways to put into a legislative initiative, which I will take to the legislature in the early part of next year.
Will that be part of the school funding fix, or?
It will be a package, yes.
Okay.
Will it come out in the State of the State speech? Is that when you expect to roll that out?
Well, we haven't made that decision quite yet, but we'll roll it out when we feel like we're ready to do so, and if we're ready to do so by the time of the State of the State, obviously we'll make that a part of it. But it will all depend on when we feel like we have developed a program sufficiently to take it to the legislature.
Year-round school year is probably
That
not.
intrigues me. Well, you know, there are some schools in Ohio that are actually doing that, and so that's something that I would like to encourage more schools to consider. I don't think it's something that perhaps is needed everywhere, or perhaps not even every school in every district.
Right.
But the idea of having a system that is flexible enough and adaptable enough to meet the needs of the students in that particular school is what I'm aiming for, rather than sameness. I don't think we need sameness. I think we need a sufficient level of flexibility so that decisions can be made to accommodate the needs of the students that are in that particular school.
Thanks.